Hey everybody, I am Momo Pixel. And yeah, so we're just gonna get started. Oh yay, okay. So the theme of my talk is go with it, which basically is go with the flow and go with your gut. Cause yeah. Hey, this is the place to be. My name is Momo, nice to meet you now, clap like me. Hey, this is the place to be. My name is Momo. Nice to meet you now. Clap like me. Woo! This place is key. My name is Momo. Nice to meet you now. Clap like me. Woo! This place is key. My name. Yay! So that was actually the first presentation that I've ever done that got me kind of on this trajectory of where I'm at now. I made that in like 2012. And this was my first logo. So I found out about advertising and I was like, oh snap, they like logos, don't they? So I made this, okay? And you would think that this has nothing to do with the video game that I made, but it does, you'll see how. So you see all these little perler beads, little pixel things. I was trying to figure out how to wear my logo. And the thing about me is I hate being like other people. Like I despise it. Like if I see somebody with a shirt with their logo, I'm like, ah, fuck, I'm not wearing a shirt with my logo. Like So I was trying to figure out a way and I was like, oh man, perler beads, I remember those. And so I spent all this time finding it and then I got into that. And then who remembers Wreck-It Ralph? Yeah, so Wreck-It Ralph came out and I remember that little logo and I was like, yo, I could totally make that logo out of these little beads. So then I made Wreck-It Ralph. Then I was like, I can make anything. So then I just went on this like thing of making like little chains. They weren't even like that great, but I thought it was the coolest shit of life. I was like, yo, I'm gonna make Courage. I'm gonna make Stitch. And I was like hosting events and stuff. You know what I mean? I was doing like open mics and all this random stuff and like, trying to be cool. I wasn't. And then I came out with my first mixtape because like, I wanna sing. I don't wanna do poetry. So I came out with like my first mixtape like 2013, I think. And as time goes on, you become more and more yourself. I'm in this creative school with all these crazy people, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna dye my hair, I'm gonna do this. And so by the end of senior year, I'm this crazy, colorful ass person. And so I drew this. This is out of pastels, and I was like, this is like my graduation gift. Who remembers Kanye's graduation? You know what I mean? He's flying like that little bear. I was like, I'm gonna make a little Momo. And so this is what happened. And when I graduated, because of that first presentation I showed you with, hey, this is the place to be, I had actually won that competition. And I had you get I would say 6 contacts to different advertising agencies. And y'all, I'm so meticulous. And I just go with the flow, but I'm also very adamant about things. So I ended up with 22 interviews. And I was just flying all over the world and just getting my life. And I ended up at Leo Burnett. And at Leo Burnett, because of all the pixel chains and the colors, they actually had Nintendo was one of their clients. And yeah, so this is how I got into gaming. Nintendo saw my ass and they were like, yo, you should work on our team. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. And I was still an intern and I sold a campaign. And this next slide is my first commercial.
Overly competitive? Blazion is why. Gassy? Cheek squeak is why. In Yokai Watch, invisible yokai cause mischief everywhere. Only you can discover them with your Yokai Watch.
Oh no, what did I do? How do I go back? So yeah, that was my first commercial. And from there, job was cool, but all my friends in college were having art shows and doing all this stuff. And, something in my gut was like, Momo, you're supposed to be doing more than this. Like, this is dope. Nintendo's amazing. But you're like, just do more. And that was me going with my gut. And so I quit my job, and I moved back to Atlanta. And, I used to host events. I used to do all this stuff, and I had this pixel thing going. And they were like, Momo, you should start your own event. And I was like, hot damn, you're right. So I started Momoland. And this was the first logo. I didn't even do this because I couldn't do pixel art at the time. I paid somebody I found on Tumblr. And I just took a picture of myself in a helmet. And I said, hey, man, can you do this? And he pixelated my face. And so, yeah, Momoland, March of 2016. So then that was the flyers. And, like, the reason why I say go with it is that all of this is kind of like a natural evolution, right? Like, by starting with the perler beads, it became pixel art, right? And then that became like GIFs. And then I work with Nintendo, so that goes into like now this like whole gaming thing. I had always loved games, but like I wasn't really in games. And then I started, my stuff grows, right? So now I'm making helmets out of the beads. I'm making like armor. I'm making like pixel glasses I got on of my own face. And like all this stuff, right? But this is all just an evolution. And remember that pastel drawing I drew myself at the graduation? Basically, this is that. Like, everything just keeps going into each other. Like, it just keeps flowing. And December 3rd, 2016 is actually my first time pixel designing. So I work here, right? I'm an art director. And everybody thought that I could do pixel art because they had seen it, right? They had just seen it in all my stuff, and I'm really good at branding. And so they're like, hey, Momo, you know that pixel shit you do? Do that for this post. And I was like, oh my God. And they told me this on Friday, and the post is due on Monday. And so in a weekend, I learned how to do pixel art. Now, I would definitely say that doing all of this perler shit helped, but yeah, I kind of just had to go with it because if I don't, I might get fired. And then in January, now that I know how to do pixel art, me and my designer that I already had, we like collabed, and this is like for the EP that I released January 2017. Then idea comes. So, Portland's cool, but people invade my space. They're always touching me. They think I'm like, I don't know, entertainment. I don't really know. I don't want to feel nobody, but it's mostly white people who do it. Being super serious, but like sometimes I remember I would leave my apartment. This is when I first got here. And a woman, she's like, oh my gosh, she's dressed so colorful. But she's talking as if I'm not there. And then she says, turn around so I can see. And she grabs my arm and proceeds to try to spin me. And so those are the experiences that I have had since I've moved in Portland. I had never actually had my hair touched until Portland. And it's like, you're just I had like braids and stuff, and you'll just be walking, and somebody will be like, oh, it's so nice. And I'll be like, okay. You know what I mean? Or you're going to the grocery store and you're trying to get food, and then you're talking to a friend, and the cashier reaches underneath the conveyor belt and like touches and is like rubbing on your hair, and you feel something tugging as you tuck it to your friend, and you're like, do you have my hair in your hands? Like, and you're touching the food that you know what I mean? So this was just it just kept occurring, and I had wrote this script called Hair Nah, like hell no, but like hair nah. And mind you, I had just started pixel designing in December. I got the idea in February. So February's like 2000, I like made a mock-up of this game. This is this ugly mock-up that I did. That joint was bad. But yeah, what's that, 2 months? That's 2 months after I started designing. And then, you're just going. It's just a lot of work, and we had a team. So I'm the designer and like the idea person, and I kind of oversaw it all. And then we had, I had a friend, she works in design studio. I taught her how to pixel design to help me with like the end. So like the end, if you've ever seen the game, the end of the game, the different scenes, like Tokyo, Santa Monica, Cuba, she did those, and then I did like the overlaying, like welcome to. And then we had an animator. He helps me. I would create a GIF and be like, yo, I'm kind of thinking about this, and then he would animate it. And then we had Trent Johnson, who was a developer, and he did like the HTML coding and just made it all great. But it was just a small little team, and it grew as more people heard about it, and it was a lot of work though. Like this was ugly. This is how the menu started. I didn't know what I was doing, but, we're just figuring it out as we go. I just know that we had this idea and everybody believed in it. And yeah, so then it turned into this. And this is what you all saw at the end. This is Hair and Ah. And basically, you're just trying to get from point A to point B because sometimes you can't even get out your damn place without somebody being like, ooh. The reason why I love this so much, this is the GIF that went viral. So, I need y'all to repeat after me, okay. So this is like a mantra that I have. And it has carried me through life. I need you to say, I'm dope as shit. No, I want you to believe in it. I'm dope as shit. My ideas are too. I will be stubborn about them. Cause I ain't you. All right. So when this was launching, I basically was telling everybody, you guys, this will go viral. And everybody was like, I mean, Momo, it's a good idea, but I don't know. I was like, no. I'm gonna make a status and it's gonna go viral. And, I put it on Facebook, it didn't work. And then I put it on Twitter and now I'm talking to y'all. And that's just because I think that I would really want to instill into everybody to be very stubborn about your ideas. I think a lot of times, sometimes you feel crazy. You have this idea, you have this hunch, you have this gut feeling, and you know that it's amazing. And sometimes it takes some work for people to believe in it too, but you know. And I would just challenge all of y'all to keep that. No matter what, no matter if somebody doubts it, no matter if anybody's be stubborn about it. No, this is dope. I believe in this. It's my idea. Me, the team, whoever, really believe in it. And yeah, these are the backgrounds of the game. And last year I couldn't do this shit. And now I have a video game. And that's just going with it. It's a lot of hard work, but this piece currently is in the Museum of African Diaspora in San Francisco, which is crazy. And then this is one of the illustrations I recently did for Racked. And yeah, that's really it. I honestly don't have a lot to say beyond truly believe in yourself. Go with the flow. I think that sometimes we're too hard on ourselves, and sometimes things just flow into another thing. If I had never made that stupid logo and then got into Perlers and then, you know what I mean, worked at Leo or quit my job, it's not even I don't think, I would not be here. All of that kind of rolled into each other. And none of it was planned. It was all oh, that's cool, I'm gonna do that. Oh, snap, that's next, I'm gonna do that. That's cool too. And I don't know, and then trusting your gut. That's honestly it. I don't have a secret. I just, even this, she was like, you wanna speak at Creative Mornings? I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. Same thing with the festival, and it's if I had never released that mixtape in 2013, I wouldn't have been, in a festival with a band. It all just keeps going. No matter where you are, just keep going, man. Go with it. Y'all the shit. And that's it. Yeah, but questions, because I know some people had probably game questions or life questions or something. Where them questions at? No? Yeah. So all of those places were places I had been. So I went to Cuba a year ago, and that changed my life. And I also wanted places that I think that those different places are places where you experience different cultures and you get different feels, right? So Tokyo is amazing just because, I mean, it's Tokyo. You get like Japanese culture. It's a big mega house. I think it's on the list of a lot of people. People just want to go there. And we did Osaka actually because I had been to Tokyo, but Osaka, like I hadn't been, and we thought that we were trying to make it like a really good travel destination for people to get interested in it. So we changed it to Osaka. Cuba we left, and then Santa Monica we wanted a place in the U.S. That we felt like was a staple, and also just I don't know, just really pretty. I remember the first time I seen the Santa Monica Pier at night with the little Ferris wheel. You're like, oh my God. So that is why we chose that. Who else? Oh yeah, there's Oliver. So he was an animator in the game. What's up? Yeah. That's a great question. So his question was, how did I balance between being stubborn and also taking advice, and creative criticism? I would say practice and time, because I think when I first started off, I think I didn't listen to people because I was so stubborn, which is good and bad thing, It still helped me get to where I'm going, but I probably am not as good as I could have been had I listened to those people. But now, I mean, honestly, I think it's a gut feeling and really trusting the people in your team, like really working with people that you admire, that you trust, that you know are better than you or different than you. I love working with people who do shit that I can't do, because I have no reason to talk back. Like if somebody is like, oh, I really think that this should go there, and I'm like, and I have I know about it, but I can't personally do it, then I'll be like, yeah, why do you think that? I just ask a question, and then I'll explain it, I'll be like, all right, that feels right to me, let's go. And then, we do it, or if it is something that I'm very adamant about, and say it's somebody who cannot do it, but they have a completely different perspective, or they're from a different place, I think that helps too, because it's something just you wouldn't even think of doing. So like the game, right? The game is about a Black experience. And during the game, I remember I was trying to explain to Oliver why I was so frustrated with why people touch my hair. I was just like, yo, they're invading my space, and then when I tell them no or slap their hand away, they act offended. And I'm like, but I'm defending myself. You are you know what I mean? You're offense, I'm defense. And I remember he said, yo, you should put that in the game. And if, you know what I mean? And it's if I hadn't worked with people of different races, I never even would have had that conversation. And so the beginning of the game is help Ava, you know what I mean? It's written from the perspective of help her defend herself. And I only got that because I was working with somebody from a different perspective, you know what I mean, with all that different stuff. And so I had no reason to argue. I was like, that's a good ass point. So yeah, that's how I balance it. But I definitely am still stubborn. So if somebody says something and I don't think they better than me, or they ain't got a good perspective, I'll be like, yeah, that's cute. That's a good question. Yeah, so next is Momoland 4. So Momoland grows and changes as I do, and it gets bigger. And so July 13th, Momoland will be at Quarter World here in Portland. Y'all should go. It's crazy. And now we have a sponsor. There will be AR. There will be VR. My game, we might turn into a tabletop game. But that's next. I'm also performing in festivals now and speaking at things. So a lot. But Momoland is Momoland's my baby. That is what I'm actually really excited for the world to really get into, because it's basically, I'm trying to explain it. It is basically a pixel wonderland with anime and music, and it just, even though I put it on, it's very inspiring for me too to just walk into this world that's other. You know what I mean? And it's just color and everybody has fun. You know what I mean? Like I love, like nothing kills me more than seeing like somebody that you feel like would never enjoy this. Like somebody like you know what I mean? You can just tell they have a hard life. Like they probably go to work, they hate their job. But I love seeing them come into Momoland. They get hyped. And I'm like, oh, you're still a kid at heart. Let's go. So yeah, July 13th, that's the next thing. And I'll probably do another game, but in a while, it's honestly a lot of work. And after I got done, I was done. Yeah. Wait, she first and then you. Okay, so her question was, how did I turn this self-project into something that was backed by widen and like into a big thing? So honestly, I think that's just because I'm a nice, dope person. It really wasn't a secret. So like, you know, the idea started and it was supposed to be for something else. And I just was like, oh, nah. And then like, somebody has seen it here. And he was like, this is like, everybody saw the idea, like just the mock-ups, and they were like, this is a good idea. Like, I think that's really what got it backed. Like, it wasn't, I didn't have to do a whole bunch of convincing. I didn't have to be like, please, like, Lord God. Like, I literally, they just saw the idea and they was like, this is really good. And I'm like, it is really good. And there's like, this is really dope. And I'm like, it is really dope. And that's really it. Like, because I was gonna try to do it outside of work, and literally they were like, no, we want you to like be able to do it here. So like they like let me pick the team, and they like let me do in work hours, and I think that was super dope because I feel like everybody on the team learned a lot. And it did a lot for Wyden, it did a lot for me, you know what I mean? Like, I think that it's just one of those things that's just like mutually great, you know what I mean? Like, it did what it did for both parties. So like it's already won like an Andy Award. It's in the Webbies right now. Like it might win that. You know what I mean? You have all these other things that it could win, and it's just like, you know, it just started from this little nugget. And you know, past the awards and stuff, honestly, it literally has changed like how people function with each other. Like somebody here, like there have been times where people have gone to reach for my hair here since the game's come out, and they'll be like, oh, this is like that moment in the game. Whereas that never would have happened before. You know what I mean? Like they like now people stop midway, or they'll see somebody else doing it and they'll be like, you know, I saw somebody touch somebody's hair and I told them about the game and like we talked about it and like, you know what I mean? Like literally this game was in, and I didn't know how big of an issue it was. You know, I know it's an issue in the US, but different countries like the Philippines, it was huge in like Tokyo, like it was in Cosmopolitan, South Africa, like it literally like. And I am so happy for that because it literally had social impact. Like, there are literally women being like, holy fuck, I feel like I've done this a lot. You know what I mean? Like, when the game came out, all I did was spend time reading the comments to make sure it was doing what it was supposed to do. So I think, honestly, it was just I think I'm blessed because Wyden, like, believed in a good idea, and I didn't have to work that hard to convince them that this should be done. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was on board as soon as they saw that. And yeah, like, that was just dope. Like, everybody was on board. I didn't really have to convince. Like, yeah, it was just, I'm just lucky, honestly. Like, I can't even tell you how to coerce somebody else into it. You had a question? Ooh, wait, what's that? What's imposter syndrome? What's imposter syndrome? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so just being unsure of yourself, like you have the credentials, you're just unsure. Um, I mean, I think I kind of have that with anything, but like I just dress very loud And so I don't think I get the chance to like not be confident in it even if I'm unconfident in it, right? Like I can like right now, right? Like technically I'm like, oh man, the speak, like, oh, it's kind of scary. But you're just doing it, and I think that, just because of the way I dress and I carry myself, it always seems like I know what I'm doing or I'm confident in it, but I always tell people when I'm not. Like, oh my God. Like, I'll be like, I'm not sure about this. Do you like this? Is this good? You know what I mean? After the festival last night, I was like, did I miss any notes? Was it great? Did you like it? Did y'all have fun? Was this cool? I still have those moments, but, I like that. I don't ever want to be to a place where I'm just too cocky and confident. You know what I mean? Like, I like that I still have my human aspect, that even though I know I'm dope, like, don't get me wrong, I know I'm dope. But even though I know I'm good, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm still unsure, and I like being unsure because it allows other people into your world, right? Like, other people start to reassure you, or they tell you something that you didn't realize, or whatever. So I don't mind that part, because it just makes everybody closer and doper, and we just all get good together. But yeah, I guess I do have it, but I don't mind it. Ew, how do I balance artist and musician? Honestly, as time goes on, I've merged them. So I think it's easier for me, right? Because at first I was just art, right? I was just in art school doing whatever, poetry and stuff. And then, the music started. And I was like, cool. And then after the pixel art came in, I was like, oh, this should be the cover of all my music. So then that started. And then, my sound developed, and it's more, sometimes it's glitchy, I don't know, soul or R&B or whatever. And so my images now, like they go with it. You know what I mean? Like, if you see pixels and you heard my music, you'd be like, oh, I get it. And like now, I would say it's getting a little bit harder because, starting to do festivals and you're touring and you're still doing the art and you're doing commissions or whatever it is. So it starts to separate a little bit. But honestly, the more times I can merge it, like Momoland, right? Momoland is a giant art, tech, I don't know, immersive experience, right? It's one day. But I also perform at it. And so for me, that's me merging them, and it makes it easier to like put it all together. So that's what I just try to do to make just, because I can't imagine them being both separate. No. Yeah. Is that it? Oh. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a great question. No, no, no. So yeah, Momo Pixel has not always been my name, but I have gone by Momo for a long time. I guess it's the part of the story that I didn't want to say, but I can say. So I grew up in an abusive home, and I ran away when I was 13. And it still got kind of bad, right? So I had like a really abusive mom, and my siblings. It was really tough. And I guess that's why I'm Momo now, because the beginning of my life, I didn't have anybody who loved me. At least that's how it felt, right? So, your family's supposed to be the ones, and I didn't have that. But the thing that I did have was, like, people loved me at school. You know what I mean? Anytime I went out in public, people were just like, Momo! And I'd be like, oh my God, this is great. This is what love feels like, And so that's where Momo came out of, right? So when I was home, I would be this other person. It just fucking sucked. And then I would go out into the world, and I would be Momo. And it was like, I wanted to be Momo all the time, but I couldn't because this is where I lived, And so it for a while, I had like these two persona things going on, and it was like bad. And then I went to college, and I got to go away, and I got to leave everything. And that's when I really became like myself, you know what I mean? Like, I started experimenting. Like, when I was home, I was never allowed to wear colors. So that's why colors is all up in my shit now, you know what I mean? Like, I literally was only allowed to wear like black and like gray and like, and I had always wanted to be a jazz singer. I had always wanted to be a singer, but my parents always told me I couldn't sing. You know what I mean? Or they'd be like, oh, you suck, or like, oh, this. But then at the same, I don't know, it's just weird. So honestly, right now, all of Momo Pixel is literally who I've always wanted to be as a kid. I just finally got to like materialize this and be this. So I love And I changed my name, like a year and a half ago? Like my last name, like I changed it like a year and a half ago. And it was such an awesome feeling because like literally right after I changed my name, like then the game came out and it's like, oh, the world knows me by like the name that I want, right? Like the name that I want, the person who I am, the person that I named myself, the person that I worked to become, like all these years, all these obstacles that I overcame, like I am finally this person and everybody knows it. And my family has to take it in the face because I know they know it. So yeah, that's how I became a. And sometimes, I would say sometimes, yeah, I don't always feel like Momo. I definitely have, I would say I'm an extrovert, introvert. So like, I am an extrovert when I'm around people. That's just how I am. But there are days where I just want to be like quiet. Like I'm actually shy when I meet new people. Like my outfits help. So like if I'm at a networking event, I just dress how I dress and then everybody comes to me. I didn't actually go to anybody. They are like, oh, you're so awesome. I'm like, oh, okay. What's up? You know what I mean? And then you just start talking. But I never actually go to people because I'm not good at that shit. Like off bat, like unless you look weird too or you look different, I ain't coming up to your ass. Like, so yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so that's how, yeah. That Momo Pixel got started. Is that it? We good? So when did I know I could enter this as a woman of color? You know, I honestly, so I have a weird relation with the race, with my race, and I think the whole race thing in general. So because I would say the first 20 years of my life was like, I guess just surviving abuse, you know what I mean, just living every day. I didn't really experience me being black, which is an experience in itself, but I didn't really experience my blackness until after I left, right? Because I was just trying to like eat or get through school or like, you know what I mean, just normal everyday stuff. So like for me, like, it literally felt like one of those moments. Oh, fuck, I'm black. This is how everybody acts. Like, and that happened. This happened during college. You know what I mean? My first experiences for real being black happened in college. And it's a shock. You know what I mean? You're not prepared for it. Like, I don't know how to explain it to y'all, but the world is fucked up and, you know, just stuff happens, right? Like, I was just not used to, and then, you know, just being aware of being older and like watching TV and hearing about somebody dying, seeing somebody else die, you know what I mean? And realizing that it's you, right? It's you that people are doing this to. So I already had a weird, like, I don't even think I realized it until I started becoming like more succinct into who I am. And so like now that's why all my work is super like, I would say, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just social justice, right? Like hair nods to help people stop touching hair, right? Sometimes my pixel art is to explain the black experience. And so like, I don't think when I was entering this that I was like, oh, I'm a black woman, I'm breaking down the barrier, hoorah. I think it was more so like, I saw a presentation, I went to that event that I won, and I saw a girl, she literally had a notebook, she had on tall socks, and she had a presentation, sucked ass. And she was like, I have this notebook full of ideas. And I watched this guy, Jimmy Smith, he's like the reason why Gatorade had this is a G and all that stuff. I watched this man stand up and say, I have a job for you. And I was like, what? She stood up here with a presentation of earrings with socks in a notebook and you have a job for her, you know what I mean? And it was in advertising. And I was like, well, fuck, I can do that. And and that's literally when I made my logo and I like literally got into all this and I was like, I'm gonna just work to be in this because if you guys just if this industry just thrives off ideas, I got that all day and it actually looks good. I think that, you know, as I'm getting into it, people kept saying, oh, you're a black woman. Oh, look, you're a black woman copywriter. Oh, you're black. And like, I was never really thinking about that. You know what I mean? Like, people force you to think about it, right? They're like you're entering this just as a creative. And people are like, yeah, but you're a black creative. I'm like, yeah, I am. You know what I mean? Like, and so now I'm like, yeah, of course I'm a black creative. But when I entered this space, I was literally just doing it because that girl had a horrible ass presentation and she got a job. And so I was like, I'm gonna get one too. But But now, I would say now, I definitely realize how, like, just because advertising is white as hell, and a lot of things are, I definitely now understand the power of being who I am and, like, the stuff that I'm doing. But I still also don't always try to put, like, black in front of it, even though I am very proud of it. I really just try to do things as a creative, and I think also that's why I just like it is, and it reaches everybody, right? Like the game, regardless to your race, like the game is funny as fuck. Like it's a funny ass game. Like the sound effects, like everything is great. You know what I mean? And that's just. We just made a good game, you know what I mean? I wasn't like, I'm gonna make a black ass game. I was like, it is a black ass game, but I was like, we're just gonna make a good game. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So I didn't come in here thinking that, but now that I'm in here, I understand that, and I just try to use that to help others, right? Like I understand that things should change, and you know, I mean, be diverse and all that stuff. And so it's just like. I want to help people who look like me also that I know who are dope. Don't get me wrong, you gotta be dope too. You can't just be black and me be like, hey, here you go. Like, you gotta be amazing. But you know what I mean? Like, just as everything, right? Everybody just needs to be good at their jobs and you get a job. It's just harder sometimes for people who look like us to get those positions. So I just try to, I'm like, hey, I can help you do this. I can help you do that. So yeah, I didn't think about it, but it's great now. It's dope. And I'm just gonna keep doing what I do. Eventually, I'll be the first black woman something. La la la, all that stuff. Yeah.